Welcome to the Denton Vibe with Diva Girl Ellie, powered in part by Classic of Denton. The views and opinions expressed by the show hosts and their guests are those of the show host and guests, and not necessarily those of the sponsors, DentonRadio.com, or the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau. For more information, visit the Policies and Procedures page at DentonRadio.com.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on the Denton Vibe with Diva Girl Ellie here at DentonRadio.com. Today we have Rachel Weaver here visiting us, and she's going to tell us all about what's going on at Scrap Denton.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because I actually love to shop at Scrap.
Me too.
I love shopping at Scrap, and we want to know all the good stuff that's happening there. And, you know, you guys got a lot of activity going on there. So
yes.
First, let's talk about who you are as a Dentonite, and then we'll transition into how Scrap came about.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about all the fun stuff. And this is my favorite, you guys. Y'all have to look at this. This is so
It's really cute. Yeah.
It makes for good selfies, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. So I might have to make one of those. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me know. What's your story, Rachel?
Cool. So I moved to Denton in 2008. So I've lived here 11 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a while.
Yeah. So went to UNT and stuck around, got a couple degrees from them and wanted to stay in Denton. I liked it here and I liked being in the DFW area. So I started getting involved sort of in environmental work and sustainability and working outside when I was working on my degree at UNT. So their program was environmental philosophy, and I wanted to make sure I was getting out in the environment when I was studying for that. And so I started volunteering on some local farms, got involved at the Clear Creek Natural Heritage Center, Nature Center. Started just kind of being mindful of sustainability and what I can do to try to make a positive environmental impact or try to help people understand to consider things about our environment and how we're interacting with it. So then I started getting involved in other community organizations and, you know, kind of all sorts of different stuff. It kind of depended on, you know, what year it was. And the day of the week. So the food aspect was always something important to me as a way of getting involved in sustainability and in my community. And then that kind of led to like working in like community kitchens and soup kitchens, volunteering just for different organizations, trying to just help on like trash pickup days and stuff like that. And then I was involved with the Denton Community Market for the last couple of years. So that was really nice and a really great way to learn a lot from all of the vendors there and get to meet a lot of local organizations, including Scrap. So there's just a lot of cross-pollination with,
there is.
with those organizations in town. And so it was really easy to kind of just be aware of what the different organizations are doing and how we can sort of interact and complement each other. And the partnerships there were very easy.
Yes. It was a natural, cohesive transition from one to the other.
Yeah. And so I miss the market, but it's nice to be at Scrap. It feels like things have sort of come around full circle. I grew up in sort of an art house, like with an art mother and just arts and crafts around all the time.
Nice.
And so, and I feel like I'm a little scrappy just in a lot of ways. And so that's what we like to call ourselves. So
that is so cute. I thought that was what you were calling yourself, literally, little scrappy.
I am a little bit, yeah.
I'm going to be like, there's little scrappy.
That would be a compliment, yeah.
That is cool, though, because your element, it was your element, basically.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting how you are talking about all the sustainability and you kind of translated that and rolled that into Scrap.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's really neat though. It's so much. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's a gold mine in there.
It is. And it's really great because it kind of is that, you know, there's a lot of different sayings, but you know, like one person's trash is another person's treasure. And, you know, so sort of our motto is like, what will you make of it? So sometimes we put stuff out on the floor and we may not know what exactly someone will do with it, but then they show us a picture later of some awesome craft they made or some home project that they completed. And it's really cool to see how people will take those materials and use them in creative ways so that they create something new. And then the people that donate materials to us, a lot of times they care deeply about the craft that they have these materials for, and they, for one reason or another, can't do it anymore. And they want to see that supplies go to a good home. They don't want to just throw it away.
Yeah.
And so that's what I really enjoy about the scrap mission, and how it translates and brings together my interests in sustainability, environmental stewardship, and arts and creativity, is that it's reducing waste that we're putting in the landfill. It can even reduce how quickly we recycle something. So, we put something in the recycling bin, it gets sent off and sort of reprocessed. But even some recyclables, you could give a little bit of extra life to.
Yeah.
Like, we take these tennis ball tubes and we put craft items in them.
And that's very practical.
It
is very practical for, anyone with kids, an artist, any kind of thing like that. And I'm going to be real honest with you, Rachel.
Okay.
The first time I went into scrap, I wasn't sure what I was walking into. It was a long time ago. And it was when it was located right here off the square. And I was like, okay, there's bottle caps in here and a few pieces of material, and I'm exaggerating, but I was like, I don't know what I could do with that, but I'll have to come back and I'll let this marinate. It marinated quite a while, and it has grown into something that it has become. And for anybody that doesn't know what scrap is, and you're an artistic, crafty type person, you need to know. Or if you're that type of person and you have just, you want to clean out your craft closet, this is a place you need to know about. But it has become one of my staples, just as much as the major stores that we, have around town. But it really, I've become dependent on it for little things that I don't want to go to those stores. I don't want to do any of that. I'd rather go here. So let's talk about scrap, because it's been around. It's getting into the,
definitely
a few years now. So how did it, who thought of this?
So scrap is actually part of a national organization.
Oh, okay.
And so the national organization is celebrating its 20th anniversary. So it started in Portland, Oregon. And it was started by a group of teachers who had a lot of leftover materials. They wanted to provide a way that new teachers could have access to those materials very affordably. And that it just wouldn't be a bunch of, at the end of every school year, everybody cleans up. And at the beginning of every school year right now, we've got all of our teacher friends who are, they're trekking their way back into the rooms and getting everything ready. And so just knowing that cycle goes on every year. And so it was started by school teachers who wanted to reduce waste and provide a way that other teachers could have affordable materials.
That is so smart.
Yeah, and then the Portland idea really took off, and Denton was one of the early additional locations. So it was started by Donna Gregory, who is a longtime Dentonite as well.
Nice. Well,
and
props to Donna.
And so it started on the square and has grown. I really like the big location we have now, where we can have a garage area to process donations, and then the storefront, and then we have the educational classroom area. So it's really good. And they've redone the floor plan earlier this year, so it's very open floor plan. It's really nice.
Okay, so I think it's amazing for my own reasons, and I'm sure everybody else will, think of their own things when they go in there. But one of the things you mentioned was the teachers. Now, it's so important, and I will touch base on this because we have so many teachers that are funding their own classroom. And supplies and material becomes out-of-pocket cost. And, I didn't think about this being a place for teachers, but my niece is a teacher, I have friends that are about to become teachers for the first time, and the first thing they're thinking about was, how am I going to make my classroom? I'm worried about that. And it's all stuff that they legitimately have to think about, because you do want to provide a happy and learning environment for the kids. And craft and art, I think it ties in along very well with all kinds of subjects, not just art. And kids learn. They learn like this versus, chalkboard all day long.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. And just teaching other skills or teaching them to do something they might not enjoy or something. Like at the summer camps, we do scrap camps throughout the year. So we'll have some other ones coming up later this fall. But we always ask the students, even if it's a craft that you think you might not like, or maybe you don't want to learn how to sew, at scrap, we try everything once. Yeah. And so we give it a try, we do our best, and then we think about how we feel after that. Nice. And so, and it really teaches, I know I mentioned it earlier, but it teaches the kids a lot of patience, especially some of the really intricate ones, or it just takes time. Just the craft itself takes a little bit of time, and they're trying to accomplish the task so they get to the next one.
It's like leveling up.
But we're trying to be like, no, you have an hour. Yeah. But then when it's free create time, which at camp they just get time to pull from different materials within the classroom, and they can make kind of whatever they want. They are given time to write it in their journals and come up with a plan. Wow. And they really get excited about free create, and some of them made these they were movable video games in a shoebox. They made cutouts and little sticks, and you can move people, and they were fighting.
Really
and
cool.
They made multiple. They kept making them after camp. And,
that is really cool. And I'm sure everybody's, look at mine. Look at mine. So there's always that anticipation and then the excitement of finishing their little project. And that's amazing. Okay. I want to go back to the classes and the kids because I love talking about it. I have nephews and nieces, so I love doing stuff like that with them. But what kind of things, so that people can know, come into scrap? Because you don't ever know what you're going to find there, honestly. And there's so many things that you could just use in everyday life. It doesn't necessarily have to be crafty.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I find all kinds of stuff there, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But what do they bring in?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's one thing I try to really tell a lot of people is that we have really affordable office supplies. So notebook paper, computer paper, paper clips. There are so many paper clips in existence on our planet that you do not have to buy new boxes of paper clips ever. We have office supplies. And then we get a lot of the different acrylic paints and art supplies. And then we get a lot of fabric. Yes. So we're actually a big fabric store. And we get a lot of really cool fabric stuff in there, all different types. And we have an awesome volunteer group that has sort of the original Denton director, Donna. She's one of the people involved in it when she started it in 2012. And she's stuck around, and she helps lead one of the fabric clubs, which is such an important volunteer group for us because they help us process the fabric and price it and then get it onto the floor. And that amount of volunteer work is just essential for us, while the other staff kind of manages a lot of the ins and outs and administrative side of the store. But the fabric is the big one. Yeah. And we get a lot of people who will come in, and they can get the fabric that they need at such a more affordable cost than getting it brand new at the big stores. And
I will be the first to attest to that because I've actually gone in there and shopped for fabric for my project, which was a backdrop. Yeah. And
tablecloths.
Yeah, everything you can think of. They have them color coordinated. So it's easy to find what you want. But I found all kinds of stuff for backdrops, for photography stuff. And then I remember walking in there and finding a quilt. Yeah. And that quilt had to be half this. I mean, it was a long quilt. Yeah. Somebody must have kept going, and they just never stopped because it was pretty long. And it wasn't wide like a bed, but it was a little thinner. And I was like, you know what? I will wrap this around me twice and be happy. Yeah. And I got it for, it had to be like $2. Yeah. And it was beautiful colors. So do not underestimate that fabric wall because it has saved me many times.
Yeah.
And you guys have all kinds of tools in there. So what else on the tour?
Yeah.
On the tour, what else do you have out there?
Yeah, so we have a lot of sewing and notions. Sometimes we have really affordable sewing machines that we get in, and we'll see how they run, or we'll get them fixed, and then we'll put them up. And then just all the little threads and things you need. We have a lot of that stuff. And then we have a lot of scrapbooking supplies.
Yes, you do.
But that involves things that people can use for all sorts of arts and crafts, because there's stamps, there's the really nice scrapbooking paper that's got all these different patterns and stuff. Like I got it for a lot of collaging that I wanted to do. And then just different like die cuts and like nice embellishments for things. So there's a lot of materials that, you know, it's categorized in this way of like fabric or scrapbooking, but people use them in a lot of interesting ways.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys have... Y'all want to hit the mother load of stickers? Y'all go visit the wall at Scrap.
Please take some stickers.
Yes, because they had so much. I'm like, they're busting out at the seams with stickers. And I'm like, who doesn't like putting stickers in their calendar? I'm a calendar planner person, and I'm like, sticker here. Sticker. I know that is so... You're like a grown woman, Ellie. Why would you want stickers?
That sense of accomplishment.
I want stickers.
And
I want color-coded stickers.
Like, you did it.
I'm very much like that. And if I want to, this is a special day. It needs a sticker. You know? I'm very much like that. So, and I love the acrylic. You did mention the acrylic. Acrylics get up there when you're trying to replace a few colors. And
exactly. And sometimes you just want a little bit of a color. And so we get a lot of new materials in, so you can get a unused bottle of paint, but you can also get one that's 25 cents for just a little bit that maybe you need. So we're excited for the universities to start back up, with art students to come back.
Yes.
And what else? Oh, we also have party supplies.
Yes,
so
you do.
Wrapping paper, tissue paper, a random assortment of themed party supplies, like pirate and unicorn and over the hill, you know, just kind of whatever we get in. So.
Yes. And one of the things that you also have, here's another one I hit up, was the envelope section.
Yes.
I'm
packaging
like,
supplies.
I need envelopes, and I just needed an odd, shape. It wasn't your typical, it wasn't brown, it was a white envelope, but I wanted it to be 5x7 to fit a 5x7 photo. Lo and behold, y'all had a whole box,
and you can just get one.
Yes,
you can just get the one you need.
Yes. But I got the whole box.
Okay.
I had to get the whole box, of course.
Awesome.
I'm like, you never know when you're going to send out 50 different 5x7s. I mean, and I actually did need them. Yeah. And so it's just amazing what you can find there. I will also say I found some vellum for invitations.
Yeah.
Those will be utilized this week, actually.
Yeah.
A whole set of vellum. And if you don't know what vellum is, I mean, it's just a nice little fancy paper they put over invitations. But I was like, how in the world, you have some really neat supplies there.
Yeah. So we're lucky with what we get donated to us, and most people are really understanding, because there are things we can't take. So we can't take in clothing, basically any fabric with a seam. We can't really take it in.
No kittens.
No, no kittens. I wish we would all love that, but and we can't really take in. Sometimes we're just like at a limit for certain supplies, but we always try to tell people where they can donate those items.
Good.
So the other organizations that might be able to recycle fabric scraps, or will take in some of the interior design or big bulk things of paint that we can't we just don't really sell them, so we don't take them in, but we'll try to direct people, and most of the time those people they want to make sure that it's going somewhere that it can get used. So as long as we give that resource, I trust that they make their way over. It's only across town, so
yeah, definitely. And one of the neater things that I've seen out there that I've actually purchased were your easels. Every once in a while, you'll get these easels or tabletop easels, or you'll get a set of watercolor paint or even chalk paint, and they're in a wooden box.
It's new.
And they're brand new. And it's like, oh my gosh, I hit the gold mine.
That stuff goes fast.
Yes. And I see those things and I'm like, nope, it's coming home with me. This is one thing that doesn't last here.
Yeah.
So when those easels, especially the tabletop ones with the little compartments for all the paint and you guys, seriously.
And then we get some vintage items in.
Yes.
Vintage jewelry. So we have non-vintage jewelry and just jewelry that's already ready to wear, and then jewelry that, you can make
Assemble.
and assemble. So we have a whole jewelry section there with very regular customers
Yes.
that come into that. But the vintage stuff can be really cool too.
Yes, I've seen that
Yeah.
whole counter too.
Mhm.
So let's talk about some of the odd things that you get
Okay.
that are utilized
Mhm.
in some of,
Yeah.
some of your projects. And then we'll get into the little, the classes and stuff for
Great.
adults and kids.
Awesome.
So, okay. Because bottle caps, for example,
Mhm.
who hasn't done some sort of art or craft with bottle caps, but they're easy and you have them there.
Yeah.
And how many times have you thought, oh, I'll just make an earring set or whatever, and you have that kind of stuff there. So what other kind of stuff do you guys get that you're like, we can use this in our camp, or
Yeah.
people will use this up? What is it? Because
Yeah.
we have so much junk in our house.
Right.
Like, let's get rid of it, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of it is kind of coming up with activities that use those things that are kind of familiar. Or sometimes we even have a list of items anybody could like create with common household items like bottle caps or things like that. I think the camp is always sort of like using like CD cases for like sun catchers is really interesting, and using like these are both like CD crafts that that are totally different for that. I think some of the other stuff is just the collaging, really having a lot of collage materials. But a lot of people, I think, what's some interesting things customers have shown us, some people like take our fabrics to make new pieces of clothing. Like they have a reusable clothing line. Or a lot of, I had a teacher asking, they wanted to sort of, they had like a box that was like Valentine's themed and they wanted it to just not be themed. And so we were brainstorming ways of using different materials to kind of accomplish the goal they want. And then I saw them later at another teacher event and they were like, I did it. I feel good. So, so it's great to see. Just that's what we always like to see, is if people can kind of show us what they make with it, and we can kind of see that on social media.
Yeah, I
what
was
they
going
made
to
of
say
it.
they upload it to the Instagram and stuff like that. That's really neat too, because you want to know what
we do.
people are making, because then you can put that out there. Hey, we've seen people do this before, and sometimes you just get the itch to be creative. You don't know what you want to do. So I know that you guys, you have classes there for adults as well as children. Tell us a little bit about each, so we can know what kind of classes are being offered.
Awesome. Yeah, the adult workshops are really great. They're usually on the weekend, and we do a couple that are like after hours, and it can be BYOB or bring your own food. And then the other ones that are on Saturdays or Sundays, all of them are sort of around your question. What do we use these materials for that we have at Scrap? So some of them coming up, or we just this past weekend did a paper making workshop.
Nice.
So
I missed that one.
yeah, people learned how to make paper and got to take some home. Some people I think brought their own. They had their own rack and they kind of brought that. Another one that's filling up fast is this DIY art journals with recycled books.
That one, yeah.
So that's a really cool one, and we got a donation from the library of books.
Cool.
And so we're repurposing those books in this workshop, and then we bring materials in from scrap, so including fabric, scrapbooking paper, embellishments, paint, just all sorts of different stuff. Heather, the workshop leader, really takes a lot of time to make demonstrations, and she does a really good job teaching people how to do all these different crafts. So we are trying to offer sort of a variety of them for people to kind of see what they want to do. But it's always showing how you can repurpose or reuse a material found in scrap. And then others kind of focus on fiber stuff. Like we did a weaving one that was pretty popular.
Very cool. And
that was with another staff member, Gina. So it's really lucky that the staff there is all super creative, and we definitely attract a certain type. We all like plants and crafting and animals and things like that. And
that's cute. I love it.
Yeah.
It's fun to be around people that are like-minded and have that, that desire to, especially to renew stuff. Because a lot of times people will just chunk it.
Yeah.
Or they're like, here, I don't want this anymore. But to have somebody come in and say purposefully, this brought me a lot of joy. I want to make sure this goes to somebody who will use it.
Exactly.
So it's nice to be in a like-minded area of artistic pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really neat. And so, okay, like I know the kids have to love the classes that you
Yes.
guys give.
Yeah, so summer camps have filled up. So they
Yeah.
were pretty much full this whole summer. We did our first teen camp, and
Nice.
that went really well. The teens took a little bit longer to loosen up, but then
Yeah.
they were really enjoying it, and so we're hoping to do it longer next time. But they get to spend sort of their day in scrap, and they learn about creative reuse. They get to tour the store and sort of see the back where we process donations. They get to see how we bring everything out, and they just get to kind of be in the store while it's open. They kind of get a little bit of extra time in the morning to kind of be loud, but then once the store is open, it's all, there's no door kind of separating them.
Yeah.
So it's all, and sometimes part of their activity is to go out onto the floor and find certain materials that they bring in for their craft.
Cool.
And so they get to make, JC, the education coordinator, she plans out a lot of great activities to give different examples. So some might be like paper and collaging, or ways of reusing materials that we might not think about. And then others might be like a skill, like sewing and making a stuffed animal or something. And so taking time to teach new skills or teach how to use a material in a different way. And we also do, so those are summer camps, and camp is camp. And but we also do birthday parties.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and so kids can come and do a creative craft in the classroom, and then we give time where they can do cake and gifts and just kind of have the space for a party.
That's really cool.
And so it was, I helped do one of those last month, and it was really adorable. We did ocean dioramas.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
It was really cute.
Okay, so that's a really cool thing. Think out of the box, parents.
Yeah.
Think out of the box, because, art has a very, very special place in a lot of our hearts, and it's not just spending time with colors and paints. It is very rewarding to the soul.
Yeah.
And to have a child sit down and concentrate. Now, my sister has, my sister Rachel, she has 3 kids. They're all grown now. But when we were hanging out all the time, we were always together. They were super hyper.
Yeah.
And the one thing that always calmed them down was painting.
Yeah.
And you talk about 3 bouncing off the wall kids, and then you put paint in front of them, and it would just be like,
yeah,
they would just focus like this. And I mean,
that's how it was with Play-Doh.
Hours, hours.
And
I was like,
I'm going to make this thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate that, because
yeah.
you can put your kid in this, and they will just eat it up. They're curious by nature. Some may find it as a challenge. Others are just like, whoa, it's just awe-inspiring to kids. Discovery is a big thing with kids. So, and then you put a bunch of kids together, and then it just becomes, just a bunch of fun.
They feed off each other.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. No, some of like at the birthday party, the ocean theme one, some were funny, then they're like, it's a diorama, so it's like a little scenery.
Yeah.
And first you kind of have to teach what a diorama is and like help them kind of understand like what is the craft, and then everyone's kind of slow to it. And then once they're building it and they see it, then they're like telling stories and like creating characters and stuff. And one girl was like, he's looking for buried treasure and it's right behind him. And so they're like coming up with this whole like episode for it.
So they're just like, and then you always see them peeking at others to see what they're doing, and then they'll be like, oh, okay.
Yes, everybody wanted me to make a bottle cap crab. So I had to make probably 8 bottle cap crabs with the hot glue gun and just putting googly eyes and it's 3 materials, but they loved it. Yeah.
Put googly eyes on a lot of stuff and we'll have fun. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, the cactus could use some googly eyes.
Oh,
yeah.
So cute.
Really cute. Yeah.
So, okay, you guys, you do the birthday parties, you do the classes, and you obviously take donations. Now, do you have certain hours that you take donations, or is it all day long, or how do y'all do that?
Yeah, thanks for that question. We take donations Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5. So we're open 7 days a week, but we process the donations Tuesday through Saturday. We need time to kind of process things when there's not just the constant flow of donations coming in. And as a nonprofit, we're a pretty lean budget. So we try to be mindful of just everybody working through their time, and everybody helps to process materials, get them to the floor, keep the floor fresh, and everybody keeps up with social media to keep people notified when something really cool is on the floor. So it's trying to be mindful of that. And most organizations that take in donations need a day or two where they don't.
Yeah.
And they can kind of just process.
You guys are really good on social media, because I know half the time I'm in there, it's because it's something y'all posted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do they do this to me? I'm at work.
Yeah.
I can't get there in time. It's going to be gone by the time I get there.
We have people who are like, can I pay online? I'm out of town.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I've done it too. I'm like,
we can't.
Hey, do y'all have any of these left? Can you hold them? Nope, we can't hold them. It's a donation-based place. So you first come, first serve. That's the trick with scrap. You see it, you better run.
Yeah, you got to get there quick. Yep.
Okay, so where can people find out about the classes,
Awesome.
about anything related to scrap? So where are they going to be directed to?
Yes, so our website has information for our adult workshops, which have a cost. It's really affordable compared to what other workshops that do arts and crafts stuff are. And you are provided materials from scrap. You get to take that item home. Depending on the workshop, we might let you take a few things so you can finish up at home, because the workshop's limited in time. And then all of the kids programming is on the website as well. So we not only do summer camps and birthdays, but we'll do field trips to scrap where a group can come to scrap. We'll do field trips to schools, and we do Girl Scout outings. And so they can come and work on a badge at scrap.
Oh, very cool.
And then we also have teacher resources. So we will do teacher training to educate teachers about how to incorporate creative reuse and sustainable material use.
Very nice.
And we're working on kind of developing our teacher programs. We'd love to just have as many ways as possible to support educators and teachers.
Oh, that's amazing.
So all of that is at scrapdenton.org. And you can go to our sort of education programs tab, and then our adult workshops have a page also. And a lot of the adult workshop information is also on Facebook, if that's easier. Sometimes people are more on Facebook, but that will have a lot of our events coming up too.
Yeah, you guys need to keep an eye out for the Facebook page. They put all kinds of stuff out there telling you, hey, we just got these in, new to the floor. And keep an eye on that. But also just to be creatively inspired by what people are making on your social media page. And they post stuff like this. And so, I think that's amazing. And I'm so glad to have had you here, because I didn't even think about the whole teacher aspect of it. Yeah. And that's a big deal.
That's kind of our roots. So we're actually doing, this coming weekend is tax-free weekend.
Oh, nice.
Across Texas.
Yes.
So that's, when everybody gets their back to school supplies and school clothes and everything. So we want everybody to come to scrap first to get their office and school supplies and the kind of items that we have, because it'll be tax-free at our store also. And then if there are things that you can't find from us, then go to the big stores if you need to get it new. But at least you save a little bit of money in the beginning. Oh, you will. And you're getting just as good of stuff.
And, you guys, they have pencils galore, sharpeners, scissors, markers galore. Yeah. And you can leave with a lot of markers for...
you can do a bulk bag for $5.
There you go, guys. A bulk bag. And you can choose your colors.
Yeah.
So, not everybody wants 12 fine point markers. You might want 6 and 4, big ones. So you can pick whatever you want. Yeah. See how versatile that is? Yeah. But definitely go out there and visit and check out their fabric wall and the stickers and the supplies and enroll your kids in the class and take a class yourself. Thank you so much, Rachel, for joining us here. I absolutely love Scrap. I think it's a great organization, and I will be there soon. Definitely. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining us here on the Denton Vibe with Diva Girl Ellie. Make sure you tune back in next week for our next guest. We'll see you later.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. We want to thank our partners and sponsors who made this show possible. And now stick around for a word from all of us here at Discover Denton.